Hello everyone, this is Joe the Orange and welcome to Alpha, Beta, Gamma, where I play the 3 top commanders in Total War Arena, in my opinion, in patch 13. So the first one is Germanicus. I've finally got him up to tier 8. Unfortunately my tier 8 swords are less upgraded than my tier 9 swords. And I ran out of XP. I could not get Germanicus up to tier 9, but he's still good. He's still good even with non-upgraded tier 8 swords. I do have the sword upgraded, and I'm pretty sure I'm missing the helm and the armor, and that's it. Actually, I don't think I have boots either, but I have 2 upgrades, so I must have the armor. I should probably check, but I can't be fucked. So anyway, here we go, get some easy shots into these guys. We have a lot of range support, and it looks like on my team there's a Han pre-made group, so hopefully they work well together. And the first thing I noticed about Germanicus is, yes, in 1v1 situations he's very good, but unlike Leonidas, he doesn't have the staying power when he's surrounded, so he needs support quickly. If he starts getting surrounded, he needs that support there. He can't be like Leonidas and hold him off for 10 years. I made a mistake here, a big fucking mistake. And basically they use a thing I think I used in the last replay I did, where you have your archers in that forest area, and you can just wail on people because the tower doesn't reveal that area. So it's a very good place to bottleneck people and just kill people. Especially heavy infantry, they can't go into the forest to kill you. So I am backing out, I'm on the retreat because I can't really do anything about that with my combination. And this is actually a map where it can be a real pain in the ass if you don't have light infantry on your team. Because it's hard to advance without that light infantry, because there's forests on both sides. But that's, it should be like that, because look at Rubicon, it's the opposite. Light infantry are fucked. So I have to play a bit more defensively than I usually like, because there's not much room to maneuver, there's not much ground I can actually go to safely. And I have to say, I love attacking Testudo. I've heard lots of people say, oh, your vision's bad, blah blah blah. But goddamn, if you need to reflect arrows, if you just don't want to get hit, man, attacking Testudo is the fucking bomb. It's way better than Ray Shields. I'll swap with you. Give me Leonidas with attacking Testudo, and you have Ray Shields. I would fucking do that in a heartbeat. And it says in the description that attack Testudo is meant to stop missiles drastically from attacking you in the front, but it seems to do it from all sides. And that's fucking the thing, Ray Shields doesn't do that. But attacking Testudo, yeah, if they attack you in any side, it seems to just block everything. It's fucking brilliant. And back to the game, I have engaged that light spear unit to help my ally because he was pretty even in combat, but I don't pop Vengeance. There's no point of me popping Vengeance. We'll win just by outnumbering him. And I want that unit dead pretty quick because I want to chase off their ranged units, so that way my ranged units can hit them in the back. And as you can see, my commander unit is in Testudo trying to cover my slingers, so my slingers don't take as much damage. And now we are quickly advancing to chase off their ranged units. But we won't catch them, but we just want them to leave. And that's the great thing about attacking Testudo. Yeah, they're going to outrun me by a mile, but they can't hit me that well. Now these tier 4 swords are retreating from the tier 6 spears, but puts me in a good position. He kind of baited them into me, and that's fine. And then I pop Vengeance for this one, because I want them dead quick, so I can go back into attacking Testudo. Because the longer they are in combat, the more focus fire damage they can take. And that's not very good for me. So straight back into attacking Testudo there, so I can avoid that missile fire. And I'm moving further away from the hill. I want to get away from their ranged units. Of course their ranged units are also moving further into the middle, but it's a better position for me to try to take them on than up on the hill, where they actually do more damage. The higher ground, the more damage you do with ranged units. Now my ally to my left is in a bad position, so I decided to help him out because it doesn't look like the horses are going to retreat anytime soon. So yeah, there we go. I go in with the charge, try to help my allies out. And that's the thing when you're playing heavy infantry, you look for engagements that are going to drag out for a fair while and go into those combats. Now you'll notice again, I haven't popped Vengeance, so I don't see the point of popping Vengeance at the moment. We're going to win that combat anyways. So I'll save it for when I feel slightly threatened. Now my second unit is providing a bit of support for my allies in this big blob, just doing their part. Now if you're wondering why I am putting my slingers really far back, it's in case I need to decap basically. If they start capping, even with that amount of slingers, I can decap them. And I almost die so many times with these slingers because I'm not really paying attention, almost run them into traps. Luckily I am paying attention enough not to actually run them into traps. And you will notice my commander unit has popped Vengeance because they are in combat with a full health unit and I don't want them to die. I don't want my commander to die, should I say, without having popped Vengeance. And it's actually lucky I did pop Vengeance because they put up a decent fight. I'm guessing he popped his Vengeance too, and he is Armored Legionnaires, so I see these spears here trying to get me in the rear, so I disengage and charge them, doing a lot of damage. Because that's one thing that Germanicus has, is he can charge in a short distance and do massive amounts of damage. And I did fail a lot when I first got Germanicus. I think I played like 4 games before this as tier 8 Germanicus. And the charge difference between Germanicus and Scipio is pretty drastic. So you have Scipio that has a 5-second charge. It covers a long distance. And I was thinking Germanicus' charge is about the same. So I'll be charging it. I'll miss by a fucking mile. That extra 2 seconds was massive. But the thing that Germanicus has over Scipio when it comes to the charge is his charge does more damage. At the moment, I would prefer Scipio's charge because it's larger. It helps you catch units. It makes it so when you are playing even heavy infantry, you have some speed. You got quick march and charge. While Germanicus has a 3-second charge, it doesn't cover that much ground. And now that I have my commanders all around tier 8 with about the same amount of upgrades, I'm starting to realize that commanders are decently balanced. Or should I say the top 3 commanders are decently balanced. Like Germanicus, Scipio, and Leonidas are all pretty even. They all have their own strengths and weaknesses. For instance, Germanicus doesn't have a lot of flexibility. You need to bring swords. That's just it. There's no, oh, I'm going to mix some cav in there, etc. The only thing you can do is, if you got a shit ton of gold, you can get slingers, or you can bring catapults, which are good combinations, but it's pretty limiting when compared to Scipio, where you can bring spears, swords, cavalry, catapults, slingers. You can bring whatever the fuck you want on Scipio. That's the most versatile guy out there. And I feel like Germanicus has to win 1v1 fights to make the game balanced. I see a lot on the forums about how Leonidas should beat Germanicus. Fuck no. Fuck no, because you know what happens when Leonidas starts beating Germanicus 1v1? Everyone starts playing Leonidas because you have this commander that doesn't break very easily. He has access to ranged units like archers, which are the best ranged units in the game. And Leonidas takes charges like a pro. You charge him in the rear, and he still fucks you up. And what Germanicus has is he can beat people in 1v1. That's it. Like, okay, people say, oh, he's got a charge so he can catch units. His charge is fucking short. He's pretty much Leonidas when it comes to catching units. Well, in this game, it'll demonstrate stuff that Germanicus can never do. And I will play Leo at the end, and I'll show you more things that Germanicus can simply not do. So this is something I like to do. I like to get my cavalry up there quickly, just to scout ahead. That's why I never make it my commander unit, in case he runs into trouble. But I get him to run up, he might run into some ranged units and it's easy points. So at the moment all I see is light spears, so I just go in there with my infantry. Now I could have possibly taken them on with my cavalry, but if he's Leonidas then he's just going to fuck me up. And there's another thing, if you're playing melee vanilla, even if you have spears, if they're light, cavalry can just fucking run you over. So anyways, I thought I'd try to pincer them in here, and that was a mistake, but I'm Scipio, so I don't give a shit. Now one thing that happens with Scipio though, is he can't take ranged attacks. You know, that's what Germanicus does, he can take those ranged attacks. But with Scipio, I have to go into combat. If I start retreating, I'm fucking dead. So I go in there, and I pop my oath, and that unit's sticking around. And look how many enemies there are here. And you'll see what I mean here. This is something that Germanicus could never really pull off, because he would retreat. So my second sword unit is moving up. I'm trying to stop them from getting me in the rear, but it doesn't actually matter too much for Scipio. But he does take charges in the rear pretty harshly. He does get some melee deflect, charge deflects, but not as much as Leonidas. And even if you were Leonidas in this situation, eventually you would rout. Because look at how many units are engaging, and there's a lot of units coming around the side now, so they would break. And that's one thing about Scipio, is he's going to fight to the death, so he's going to get some points at least, unless he faces another, like a higher tier Scipio, who he can't even hit. Is that tier 10 oath is fucking stupidly good. So I get a really nice charge off here. I'll just charge him where he's not paying attention, and they end up routing. But notice that the charge leaned that way. I wish you could, where you clicked, the spot you clicked on the enemy, that's the direction you're heading. Not fucking over there a little bit or over there a little bit. You're heading and engaging in the place where you clicked. But, you know, fuck. It's this game. Anyways, back to tier 10 oath and tier 10 hold the line. If you ever see them engage each other, it's the most boringest fucking thing you ever see. It's just that they all miss. No one can hit anyone. And that's why Germanicus is actually needed. That's why he's needed to be overpowered in 1v1 situations. Because those high tier abilities are fucking stupid as shit. And most people can't even hit them. For instance, when you face a high tier Germanicus, at least you can do some damage to him. But let's say if I had oath at tier 10 and I queued with tier 4 units, I could stomp every single fucking person because no one can actually hit me, unless they had a lot of ranged units. But basically I can go into any engagement, as long as I have my oath up, and stomp those people into dust, basically. And the same thing with Leonidas. Just go in there, tier 10 hold the line, and you can't damage me because you can't even fucking hit me. And you can't even charge me. And in some ways, Leonidas is even worse, because if you run out of combat, he doesn't give a shit, because he always has hold the line, while oath goes on a long cooldown. And the other thing is, when you're playing Germanicus or Scipio, if your commander dies, it's a big fucking deal. But on Leonidas, if my commander dies, I really don't give a shit. I've lost Spell Cry, which is kind of bad, like it can be bad, but I still got Hold the Line and Bash, which to me are more important than Battle Cry. So as you can see, overall they're all good at different things. So to me, these commanders are actually balanced. And then Alexander, Caesar, and Milli Vanilli are fucking weak as shit. Now I did go in there with my cav into those spears. I just wanted to help my ally. Decided to give him a hand. But then those swords came up, and I just wanted to get out of the way because they probably want to charge them in the back. And my cavalry was in the way. But back to certain commanders. Okay, let's look at Milli's a big one, because he's meant to be a melee commander. I don't give a fuck about this whole disruption commander, assault commander bullshit now, because it's pretty much, that's a melee commander, that's a range commander, that's a cav commander. And melee's meant to be good with infantry. And he can be good. He can really just smash certain people. Like if he ever gets into combat with Alexander, or he gets a rear charge on pretty much anyone but Leonidas and Scipio, then he smashes them. And that's the problem, is Leonidas and Scipio are very popular, and they completely counter melee. And then you have Germanicus, who's also very popular, who in a 1v1 situation is going to smash melee. So the only thing melee can do is really come up behind him and fear him and then rouse him. But the problem is if melee gets fucking recharged or anything, he breaks as well. So how would you make melee balance? Well, to me, he needs, like, there's commanders running around at the same speed as him. You know, you've got the new guy, the barbarian guy, you've got Alexander, you've got Caesar, you've got Scipio, they're all just as fast as him now. And that's the fucking stupid shit. Because if your whole tactic on melee is you have to get rear charges, etc., you should have the speed to be able to do it. And I'm not talking about a massive speed buff. I'm talking about enough fucking speed to actually catch other commanders in a reasonable amount of time. Like, I don't have to chase you half the fucking map because I have 2% more run speed. Pretty much the only advantage melee has at this stage is the fact that he's alright with pikes, even though pikes are fucking shit. Then you've got Alexander, and the thing that keeps him balanced is he can play cavalry well. That's it. That's what Alexander does. He plays cav, and he can do it well. And yeah, I guess he goes alright with archers, because he has rapid advance. I still rather Leo with archers. And then you got Caesar, who, well, pretty much if you're not playing slingers or javelins with Caesar, I don't really see the point. Got nothing else to say about that. If you're not playing slingers or archers, or sorry, slingers or javelins, I don't see the fucking point of being Caesar. And pretty much all you want is that speed buff. And divide and conquer. And that helps only really ranged units, because the minute you get hit, divide and conquer ends. So anyways, back to the game. As you can see, I've engaged this heavy infantry in the forest, and the reason I pulled my other two units out is I did get shot by what looks like immunes or engineers. So I don't want any other units around that area. And the thing is, I know that I can hold there for a while. So now he's got me surrounded, but I have battle cry, and that buys me enough time to bring up my other units. Also, when Leonidas is surrounded, his shield bash does amazing damage. So the longer I keep that unit there, and the longer I can push shield bash, the more damage I'm doing. I'm just smashing them in the face. And now my allies arrive, and they're totally screwed now. So I pushed my buff, my melee defense consumable, just to help my allies out, make sure we get out of this combat without taking that many casualties. And as you can see, even though they were in combat for a fair while, they didn't really kill any of my spears. And that's one thing you should never do as heavy infantry. I see so many people do it, is put them in the forest area. Because it's just a fucking horrible idea. The amount of debuffs heavy infantry receives and the amount of buffs light infantry receives in the forest just makes it the worst idea possible. So as you can see, when I saw that cavalry approach, I just pulled my spears out of combat with that hold the line, and that scares them off. And that's one thing that Leonidas does well. He can play light spears and scare the shit out of cavalry, because he has that hold the line, which pretty much turns them into heavy spears. You never want to charge Leonidas with Cav in general, basically. Now that Cav has gone in for a charge, and now I'll just punish him for that, just get those easy shots off. And I go to support my ally down here. Unfortunately, I will be a bit late, so I just get my archers to start popping in shots there as much as possible. Now, this cavalry does come in again for a charge, so I punish him for it when he tries to retreat. As you can see, it's done a massive amount of damage to him. Hopefully that will scare him off, so he doesn't attempt that again. And now I start popping into this guy here. And I keep my spears close, at least one unit near my archers at all times, in case that cavalry does in fact come back. And now I send that spear unit up to hopefully get this guy in the rear to destroy him quickly. And now you will see why I am scared of when barbarians actually get a melee commander, like a proper one, like with a big ultimate. Because look at this. So they're fucking running away. Look, they routed that unit. Even though he was winning combat, they routed him because of that fear presence. Which makes melee look like a piece of shit, doesn't it? I could just play barbarians and use it. I got it on a piece of gear. I got his ultimate on a fucking upgrade. So imagine when a melee commander gets released for barbarians that has something like Hold the Line or Shield Bash or Vengeance or one of the good abilities. We're all fucked, basically. That's the thing, because he's running around with melee fear and it doesn't even use up a fucking commander ability. And then you have Scout. So when they get ranged units, it's like, let's shit on the Greeks' day, basically. Let's just make Greeks look fucking even weaker. Their big advantage at the moment is they have archers. But if the barbarians get archers, there goes that. Because they're going to be way better with archers. And the Greeks used to be good at light infantry, but they're getting melee fear for free. And they'll have other commander abilities, so... yeah, the extinction of the fucking Greeks, basically. And the worst thing is, if you go back, he was attacking me in the front. My melee fear wouldn't even be able to get you to rout. That's the fucking stupidest thing. Go back to that. I was fighting him, and he didn't even attack me in the sides or anything. And he fucking routs me, so he's got a better fear than melee. And I don't think that fear presence goes on cooldown. So he's running around with fucking fear 24/7. Melee just looks like a piece of shit at this stage. Like, what is the fucking point of that commander? The only thing really holding the Greeks together is that the only one that can use Cav is Scipio and Alexander, and Leonidas is pretty good. So once the barbarians are fully released and they have their own ranged units, well, it's going to be pikes that are going to be the strength of the Greeks, but pikes don't work for shit. They bug out all the time. Like, yeah, you can do well, but you just have to hope you don't run into the 1 million bugs that they face. So luckily I have been investing most of my points into the Romans lately. I was a heavy Greek player, but now I've started investing pretty much all my points into the Romans, because I have a feeling Greece could go down a bad path where they expect them to do well because they have pikes. And to me, I'd never want to play pikes again. I might do one game here and there, but they're so fucking buggy and it's so stressful. I'd never want to do that ever again, really. So if they take away their light infantry, they make it so barbarians have archers and you can run around with fear 24/7, fuck it. I'll just go barbarians and Romans, I guess. I'll probably just stick with Romans. I'll play a little bit of barbarians, but they kind of piss me off because they're stealing they got fear as an item upgrade, a fucking unit upgrade. It's just the dumbest fucking thing ever. And don't they have another one called Inspiring, was it Inspiring Presence or something? So is that like, I haven't tested this, I haven't seen it, but is that like Leonidas' battle cry? Because all it seems at this stage is they're just moving all the fucking Greek tier 4 abilities to the barbarians. And then giving them more commander abilities. Like, how come they don't give them bloody vengeance? Well, that's probably what they're doing next. Let's give them vengeance, and they're running around with fear. Yeah. Anyways, who knows what they're doing? It could be totally wrong. I probably am. Because I have to imagine that they know that that would be the stupidest fucking idea possible. I just have to hope. Imagine and hope. Maybe the barbarians are never getting really, any really big combat abilities. Maybe that's their plan. The units are strong and the commanders are weaker than most other commanders. That has to be the case. Because they already have fucking fear. They already have that inspiring presence. If they start getting abilities like Vengeance or Oath, we're all fucked. Basically, we're screwed, we're dead. Well, at least the Greek side is. I mean, who knows, maybe their archers have a shorter range or less damage or something. I don't know. I don't know, guys, but yeah, okay. If they get... I am playing that Arminius guy the minute they get archers, because if they're anything like the Greek archers, and now you have a scout ability that you could run around with, that's fucking... I'm that guy. I'm that guy that's gonna piss everyone off. I'm just scouting, shooting you, and then running behind melee units, baiting you in. And I just looked at the commander. That momentum is for all units. So now I can run away quickly as well. So he's just a fucking dream range commander. So he has a movement buff and a massive scout ability. That's all you need for ranged units. Like, look at the Greek ranged units. You don't need fucking any abilities, really. And they do well. Imagine when you have a commander that buffs them. Like, with Caesar, there's no really good archers. So that's why he can't do it. Anyways, guys, I'm going to end that video there. Please subscribe and thumbs up if you like this video.